Hey everyone, Chad from the Papercuts team here. Today I'm going to give you a little rundown of what our team worked on in the milestone we just finished, 18.3. But first, a quick refresher on how we organize our work. Paul facilitates communication within our team and between our team and other groups to make sure we have themes where we can make significant UX improvements lined up for the coming quarter and half, and then we split up who runs those milestones. For example, Julia facilitated our milestone with the import and integrate team. She also did a ton of design work in advance of that. Annabelle ran our milestone working on the package team. Again, did a bunch of design work leading up to that. And each milestone, we're also kind of only able to dedicate part of our time to that theme because we all have a lot of ongoing side projects and other responsibilities. For example, Sasha was and still is heavily involved in dark mode work, even beyond the dedicated milestone our team did for a bit over a year ago. And I usually have several things on the go in plan, regardless of what area we're working on in the milestone theme. So in 18.3, it was my turn to run a milestone, and we themed it around planned work. I talked with user research, design, product, and engineering folks in plan to gather pain points and backlog work that they felt would make an impact. And then the Papercuts team had a kickoff call before the milestone started to make sure we were all on the same page, discuss the things I wanted us to tackle, and kind of shake out any questions we needed answers on. And Nick Leonard was able to join us as well as kind of a plan design subject matter expert. And we took some big swings in this milestone, not all of which panned out. One big thing I wanted to move forward this milestone was allowing iframe embeds in Markdown. This would enable users to put things like videos, Figma files, diagrams, and description into their descriptions and comments that are like live updated because it's like the canonical source instead of a screenshot or an exported image. There's a 5+ year-old issue with over 50 upvotes related to this from the community, and this is also functionality that's available already in some competitor products. This one didn't make it over the finish line in this milestone, though, because it's really complex. The actual mechanism of allowing iframes in Markdown is kind of easy. We're actually filtering them out today, so we just have to stop filtering them out. But we can't just allow any old iframe for security reasons. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to think about and build in around, allow lists and that kind of thing. I've been working back and forth with Brett Walker on the planned backend team over the last month on this, and we do have a working version and draft MR. So I'm hoping to get that to customers soon. Upgrading label management was another big swing this milestone that didn't work out. Our current label management experience is all in HAML, and the UX is kind of limited by the tech stack here. And since setting up labels is a common task early in a customer's journey with us, we felt that upgrading this experience would help eliminate some early potential for friction and negative brand impact, especially among those users who are like setting up their team, who are giving us money. So the plan team designers have an improved experience for this. They have designs for it. But their team can't dedicate the resources to migrating this experience over to Vue and GraphQL right now. They've got other brand new work they're working on. So I took a swing at this during this milestone, but I found that again, this was like really complex and involved, a bit more than I could do on my own in a single milestone. This is the kind of project where our team would probably benefit from some dedicated backend support to build out APIs and backend stuff in parallel with front end work. But we did get quite a lot done during this milestone. The four of us merged, I think at last count yesterday, like over 80, like 87 MRs. Let me show you some of the stuff that we did. First, in the work item drawer, we made some adjustments to the layout of the expand button and took advantage of the full height of the drawer for the sidebar on the right. We also brought the sticky header on scroll that you see in the full page work item view into the drawer to give users quick access to the title and header actions even when they're scrolled down in the drawer. We made a bunch of improvements to contextual information and popovers in plan. Sasha did all of this work. We added usernames and clear indication of the user's role and as an assignee on child items and related MRs. We also added some contextual tooltips like an iteration tooltip or popover when you hover over an iteration. This kind of matches the experience we have for milestones currently, and we also made some style improvements to the milestone popover at the same time. There were a couple of like text wrapping edge cases we were also able to account for with these. And then another area we did some work was in the new issue form. This form shows up in a full page view, but also in a modal. So we took the sticky footer buttons from the modal and put them into the full page view because users were kind of getting lost on that. We improved the layout of the sticky footer when the contribution guidelines are present. And we also moved similar item suggestions that are shown based on your title input into a collapsible CRUD component and gave some inline context on what they are and why they're being shown to you. We improved the UX around title length limitations by giving the users some feedback about title length before they attempt to submit. This allows them to make some decisions about that. We made a couple of changes related to this during this milestone. Um, we also fixed a tab order and autofocus problem so the users can start creating their issue faster because in the previous experience, the project dropdown was getting focused and you couldn't just start typing your title right away. We also made the description input grow to fill the available space in the modal so that you can type without having to scroll a bunch in the little thing. Speaking of which, we made a lot of improvements to the editor experience. One big one was changing the default editor for new users to the rich text editor. This is something the plan design team and the knowledge team in particular had been in alignment on for a while, but they weren't able to get it prioritized for engineering. So I was really glad that I was able to get it done for them. This should be a significant usability improvement for new non-technical users. And you might also notice down there in the corner, Annabelle did some really cool work about vertical resizing on editors. Here's a little demo. We were also able to fix some bugs like unnecessary double scroll bars when you're in focus or Zen mode. And we made sure that the internal note checkbox is actually remembered on draft notes so that if you're writing a draft internal note and you go away or you refresh the page, that it remembers it's an internal note before you submit it. Finally, within plan, there were some nice fixes we were able to do in Wiki. Here's another giving the user feedback before they do something error-related thing. We were preventing users from accidentally trying to create a wiki page that has no title. This prevents them from running into a particularly nasty error state. And we also made sure that comment styles were consistent with work item and MR notes, especially for internal notes. There were also a lot of other cool things the team worked on during 18.3. I'm not going to list all of them during the recording because some of them aren't private, are not public. But here's a cool one. Sasha implemented a keyboard shortcut for invoking Duo Chat. So now you can type D to invoke Duo Chat and start chatting right away. So this gives users much quicker keyboard access to that. We also made a few fixes to Duo Chat suggestions. We fixed some padding problems that they were having, and we also got rid of the question mark icon there to make them feel a bit more like chats. Julia implemented a really cool draft status badge for MR list pages, so you can quickly spot drafts in that list. And Annabelle and Sasha collaborated on some really nice improvements to the MR review panel as well. Annabelle fixed some line highlighting for merge conflicts, and Julia added in some nice UI animations like this toggle here. You probably all noticed this one. Sasha worked hand in hand with Austin on some nice style improvements to the left sidebar in the nav. We also fixed a bunch of accessibility bugs. There were quite a few during this milestone, and some of them are little tiny things. Some of them are pretty nice usability improvements for everybody. One I want to call out is we added in the ability to basically skip over the formatting toolbar in the editor, so that like if you're creating a new issue, the focus is on the title, and then you hit Tab, and you move to a button that you can activate with the keyboard that will move the focus into the description blob itself instead of having to tab through all 14 of the formatting buttons. Oh, also, Julia completely overhauled the doc site. That went live yesterday. You may have seen that. Here's what it looked like for 18.2, and here's what it looks like now. And yes, it has a dark mode. I'm not going to steal her thunder on this. She could give a whole presentation on her process here and the work that she did, but I wanted to call out she put a ton of effort and time and work into this during this milestone. I think she deserves a lot of kudos for it. It's really cool. The doc site is looking really great now. So what are we going to do next? This milestone, 18.4, we're collaborating with the AI teams and also 18.5 as well. There's also some other non-public stuff that we're going to be working on soon. Thanks.